We did the record deal and didn't have no place to record at the time. So I called up Rebbie. I said, Rebbie, do you think we can call up Tito and ask him if we can cut our record in his studio over there? And she said, yeah, I'll
Mm.
call him. So she called up Tito. Next thing you know, he said, come on over. He was going over songs for the first Surface record, right? But in the
Right.
meantime, because we were writers, before we actually did the deal with Surface, he wanted me to write some songs for Rebbie Jackson at the time. So we did a song called Reaction, which was the title track of one of her albums. So
Okay.
when I was working on her album, she wanted me to produce her in her brother's house, Tito Jackson's
Mm.
studio. So I was like,
Oh.
yo, let's do this. I love me some Tito. I love the Jacksons anyway because I came up with them.
Right.
So
Sure.
I flew out to California and moved, and went up to Tito's house up in Encino, California, into
Yeah.
this luxurious mansion up on the hill. And it was just
Mm.
gorgeous. And, to get into the studio, you had to go and get, entered in through the gates and stuff like that. And then he had a little stream going around his house, and it was up right on top of the mountain. So you had to walk over a small little bridge to get in there. And then once you walked over the bridge, you could go straight into the house, but we had to go left. And he cut steps out down the mountainside, and they went down around the house and then it moved over to the right. So we was all the way on the back of the house, but sort of he cut the studio out of the side of his house, out of the mountain. And
Oh
so then
wow.
you walked into that area, and then you walked into the studio. I walk in the studio with Rebbie, and we walk in, and out of this elevator came Tito and his wife, Dee Dee. I'm like bugging. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Right.
yo, this is crazy. Me growing up with Tito, and I had a little secret thing. Every time I saw Tito, I said, man, I wish I looked like that dude right there because he was sharp looking to me. I
Right.
always
Right.
wanted to be Tito. He had the afro shit going, all the
Right.
things that I
Right.
like.
Right.
But anyway, here he is. I'm in his studio producing his sister, who freaked me out anyway because she looked just like Michael, and she had that
Hmm.
soft Jackson voice and everything. I was just
Right.
bugging. So we got that project off, and then so now I'm going to move back forward. So then all of a sudden, now that they're talking about no writer stuff, but actually doing a record deal, we did the record deal and didn't have no place to record at the time. So I called up Rebbie. I said, Rebbie, do you think we can call up Tito and ask him if we can cut our record in his studio over there? And she said, yeah, I'll
Mm.
call him. So she called up Tito. Next thing you know, he said, come on over. I was like, oh,
Wow.
snap. Here we are cutting the first Surface record album in Tito Jackson's studio. Now we in. And
Mm.
Bernard Jackson, he was always like, "Yo, that's my cousin," so because they got the same name,
Same last name. Yeah.
we we at my cousin's house, y'all. Just enjoy yourself. We're gonna do this, right? So it was so cool. And so here we are recording the first album. Now
Hmm.
he had this other keyboard player that was his partner at the time, and I
Hmm.
happened to notice him. And one time I came in and I heard him really playing all this beautiful, beautiful music. Right?
Hmm.
And so I came over to Tito. I said, "Hey Tito," I says, "Is it okay if I ask Sal Benford if he could play on our records and kind of arrange our records, like with his little spice he had, right? Because he had a
Hmm.
nice little touch."
Okay.
And Tito said, "Yeah, it's cool." So I went over to Vasal and said, Vasal, you know, we do our music, but we need somebody to kind of put arrangements on the top of it with the little synthesizers and stuff. So we
Hmm.
added him to the record, and we would write the songs and put down the songs between me and Dave. And
Hmm.
sometimes Bernard he played bass and guitar too on one of the songs.
Oh,
And then
really?
we'd have him come in after us. Yeah, Bernard's a musician too, plays keyboards, bass, and and
Yeah.
guitar. And so here comes Vasal on the top of our music, putting all this beautiful spice all over our music, turning it into
Mm.
something totally different. You know, to
Mm.
us it was different. You know, because it added an extra little flavor that we couldn't do.
Mhm.
We were good musicians, but we did tracks
Right.
and we could write a song. So
Mm.
we did that, but he put the little spice on top of our music, right?
Mm. Mhm.
And that's what kind of started out Surface to get what we, you know, what you guys know as being the Surface sound. So that's how it worked out.